We have come to the third Soviet turn, and now we're going to see some of the effects of the Great Patriotic War. The first effect is that the offensive kit has to be purchased for twice as, if it's going to be purchased, cost twice as much. So that costs 4 goods and 4 oil. But I think that the Soviets they definitely want that for this turn, because they're going to try to launch some counteroffensives here. This is a reinforcement unit. Because of the reduction in the amount of goods that resurrected units cost, this is a good and an oil, a good and an oil. The Soviets have 6 oil, so it's 4, 5, 6, and they have 19 goods, and so they could bring in a few more infantry units for a good each from the dead pool, but they don't have that many reinforcement locations that they really want units to come in on. So they're going to save some of those goods for the 4th turn. And so now we'll go ahead and put these on the map and then get rolling. Okay, so I made 2 errors in that last little segment. I forgot that the Soviets got the Lend-Lease card, which gives them 1 extra good every turn this year. That doesn't affect anything, but this Leningrad unit was disorganized, and because it's up front, to reorganize it, because it's cavalry, costs 1 good and 1 oil. So I had to have the Soviets leave 1 armor unit back in the dead pool that they had brought in order to spend the oil, and they have the extra good to reorganize this unit, because they definitely want to do what they can, if anything, to hold Leningrad. That may be a moot point for them at this point. We will see. And then I put the reinforcement units in upside down. And so the next part of the turn is the strategic rail movement. And the Soviets have no strategic rail movement that is of any note for them. They could move a unit up to here, but they do have some strategic rail potential. Next turn, if I had moved this unit off of this city, they would have brought a unit up, but regardless. So strategic rail movement is done. Now strategic land movement. This is the 1 movement point per hex, regardless of terrain. Not allowed to move into any upfront or enemy controlled hexes at all during the strategic movement phase, and don't get to act again during the movement or combat phase if you've used strategic movement. And so the Soviets will certainly use, so they're not going to recapture Moscow this turn. They're looking to get the Kharkov back mainly, and they could potentially end up on the 4th turn jumping up here and making a bid for Smolensk. So, and they definitely are going to get a nice little armor pincher move against this German infantry unit here, which I will demonstrate in a moment. So strategic moves, this unit needs to be turned right side up. So strategic movement, let's go. Can't move there strategically. Let's maybe let's not move any of those units. Yeah. I wonder if we should have reorganized this unit here too for 2 goods. In fact, I think I'm going to go ahead and travel through time and do that as well. It doesn't get to strat move, but it can move on the movement turn, which it will. And so, yeah, can we get anything? 1, 2, 3. Does having an infantry unit out in the open like that do anything for me? I don't think it does. Let's maybe go here. And here, I guess, and we'll rotate. In this unit, 1, 2, 3, and rotate. Can't move any further. Can this unit do anything for me? This unit. 1, 2, 3. I don't know if it makes any sense to be out here like this. No, this unit definitely wants to stay there right now. The armor, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this could have been better set up by the Soviets. Keep that in mind for the next time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sort of trying to 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Trying to sort of prep a potential offensive up this way, I suppose. I'm just gonna stay right there. It'll come right up there. It's going to stay in that rail hex there just in case I want to rail it somewhere. And I think that is all the strategic movement that I have planned here. So let's do regular ground movement. And I think that I need to pause a little and see if the Soviets can make a good plan for themselves in the attrition phase. Well, it looks like the Soviets are going to be not doing great by themselves in attrition, but I think this is going to be a good plan here to move into position in the defensible terrain of the woods. This unit's 1, 2. One of the things I wasn't cognizant of in the attempt to retake Kharkov this turn is that the Soviets don't have units with a lot of movement points to get there. This armor unit here can get there and probably should, but I was planning to get an armor unit, get that unit here and bring this unit here, and that would be a chance to lay a pretty heavy blow on that infantry unit because the armor bonus would be in effect. But I think that it's much more important that the Soviets retake Kharkov, and this unit's only got 2 movement points, so it can't get there. So 1, 2, 3 retakes Kharkov, and I better remember to adjust the maximum German production there when I do that. And so that was 1, 2, 3, 4 because there's rivers there. So there's that. We might be able to launch an attack here. I think maybe the offensive kit was not needed for this turn. Next turn, the Soviets are going to have some very heavy-hitting infantry units in the game. They will definitely be able to make a little bit of noise that way. I think that is it. So then the question is, should this unit here disengage, or should it stay here? It could launch a 1-to-1 attack just for the sake of launching it. Oh, I also, during the strategic movement phase, I wanted to bring this air unit up here at least, so that it can be available to fight in Leningrad if need be, if we get an air reaction next turn. So, yeah, I think that's about all. I'll have to count up attrition and do that next. Okay, we're going to finish off this Russian third turn here. And the Russians don't really have any attacks that are worth making. So a competent Russian commander would have known that ahead of time and not purchased the offensive chit. So I refunded them the goods spent on the chit, and they used some of those goods to turn this air unit here from a cadre to full strength, hoping that it would help in the next turn. Because the attrition results are 23 Soviet ground points up front to 54 German ground points up front, and that that leaves the Russians, as you can see, with so they've got 23 here as the phasing player, and the Axis have 54, and so the Soviets will have to take 2 hits, and they will inflict none, and they will claim no attrition hexes, and they will have no air reaction or no attack. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean. They'll have no chits to launch attacks with, even if they had the offensive chit. So the Soviets have to take 2 hits, and that will finish off this third turn. As usual, when I solo an East Front game, I do a terrible job as the Russians trying to defend against the initial German onslaught. So where should these hits be applied? They have to be applied to upfront hexes. I think that this unit here is probably not going to be facing a tremendous threat, and the where else? So they don't want these units down here. This doesn't, well, no, that is an upfront unit there. The thing about this unit is if the Axis captures this hex, they will put Leningrad out of supply. So even though it's not a super strong attack, there is a potential that could happen if this unit were to suffer 2 hits, and giving it a hit right now would be one of those hits. So I think also, well, yeah, I don't see there being any possible way to retake Moscow, right? I just don't think that can happen. And so I think this, well, no, because then that unit can't retreat if it needs to. This unit here, if this unit is weak, the Axis will be able to probably run it out of there pretty easily, and then on the blitz phase have an easy shot at Yaroslav here. That doesn't seem to matter much in terms of operational victory. Definitely can't lose Leningrad if possible, so they're not taking it there. And down here, there is a chance on the next turn. The Soviets have a couple of heavy-hitting infantry units showing up as reinforcements on the next turn. And between that and their ability to use a great patriotic war bonus to bring units back, I do think they'll have some potential offensive capability, which they'll want to use down here where the Axis is significantly weaker. So do we want to just sort of give up Yaroslav? It doesn't seem like it matters much, and it looks like it won't be a hard thing for the Axis to take. You know what? We're going to say that this unit here doesn't matter. It can sacrifice itself. So there are the 2 hits, and that ends the Soviet attrition phase. There is no ground combat because they did not have any attack markers, and that still don't have a chance to use their Katyusha card. They're hoping to do that next turn, and the Axis are hoping to finalize their initial gains. This is a fascinating game. I am going to try to motivate myself to learn how to make a vassal module so that I can make one for this game. And yeah, enough said.